Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Could you hear me?
Yes. So uh, thanks, Zoom. This is Hian from company ABC. Is it a good time to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess today we're gonna talk about almost an hour. Maybe first 10 minutes. I will have a few sort of like questions, and then for the remaining time, we're gonna go over some coding questions. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds good for me.
Yeah. So, and can you tell me an example of a calculated risk that you have taken in the past where uh, speed was critical? What was the situation, and how did you handle it?
Uh, yes. Yeah. In the speed is the let me see. So yeah. So the situation is last time in my the main table of our database is only the single table. It doesn't have any partition. Then the problem is the people cannot query the information from that table to know what is a bug to debug because we are like event state framework. So it will go through the event, go through our system, and then go to the Oracle ERP system. So my task is that time I joined the team and then I have one Jira ticket to support it, like index something. Then after I investigate it carefully, and then I see that even we index, it like doesn't really help. And so I suggest them to do the partition for that table. We have only a few days because less than few days because the manager need to know like what is because there are the mismatch between the system in the source and our Oracle the ERP. So and then the data go through us. They want to know like uh, what is the problem? Is it because of we process wrong or maybe the source send the wrong data, right? So we have only few, I think, few days, and I try to I come up with a solution like partition the table, but the table currently it is like 380 million record, and it's very big. So even we and when we deploy the system. We need to have the downtime is a very short because if the downtime is a big, then I mean even we are the queue system, it means like we want to have the downtime is short. So after I check with the like manager like how long we can have the downtime. Is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 1 hour? So we collect all the information. Like for example, currently now our system can process how many event, and if we downtime 1 hour, after that, like how long we will need to take time to like process for that backlog for 1 hour. Then after that, we define that like, hey, you can downtime like 1 hour, but shouldn't be more than that. So then based on that one, I say like the table is a 380,000. And now because I do partition in my system is a Postgres, it need to be like you need to create new table, have the partition is each child table. You can imagine it like you create folders and you have sub child folder. So so I told them, can I do like I create the new table, have the partition, then I slowly copy the recently like uh, 15 days because 15 days is it is our retention data with the queue topic. The how long your message will be in the topic of the queue. So they agree with that one. So and that copy actually just take maybe like 20 minutes. I think it's like 1.5 minutes for one day. So 15 days will be like 22 or 24 minutes. And we also need to calculate the time like we upgrade the schema, everything. So it took me around like 35 minutes to deploy, and then I bring the recently 2 weeks data to the new table. After that, we can switch on our system, observe it, and in the meantime, I slowly copy the old data in the past to that partition table. And the result is after that, actually the manager we can query the table by each day and what kind of error. Then we can identify it is like how many quantity come what is a mismatch, which bug is the most critical. Does it come from us or does it come from the source vendor? Because sometimes they send the wrong data, so we already like flag it like wrong data, but we don't know like because the table is just one table and even have index, it's very hard to query inside.
Mm.
You can imagine like one table only doesn't have any partition, contain 6 months of data. So that's why. So after that, the manager have on the bug, they can identify the bug. They can like based on the unit of the mismatch, they can run it. Which one is critical to process immediately, and then can assign it to the appropriate people. Until now, I see it quite good. We don't have any like escalation from the vice president anymore.
Okay, so yeah, that's an interesting project and migration. So I have a question about. So you mentioned the requirement was short downtime, and you came up with 1 hour at max. And can you tell me a little bit more about what are the metrics you taking into consideration when you say 1 hour is what we can afford? Maybe you can talk about like was there any customer impact during the migration?
Yeah, there isn't really the customer impact, but for example, like our system have currently now we have like around like 1,000 more than 1,000 transactions per second, and if we like stop it too long, then later when we just like switch on the producer again, then how can I say it will like the transaction per second at that time will be very high, and it can like send to our database and make it like become like a bottleneck. So we don't want to have that bottleneck in long time. That's why.
Okay, so there was no customer impact.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. After we discuss like because we are design like the queue system, so and actually it's just delay. But for example, if you like downtime 5 or 6 hours, it can have the customer impact because, for example, like the data should be like in the same day. But if you delay too long and then the process time also take 5 hours, it can be the next day already. Right?
Got it. So it seems how long does that project take?
Currently now we are still working on that one.
I see.
Yeah, it's one time I need to make decision like when I deploy what is the strategy.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like when did you execute the migrations? I would imagine you would pick the time that has something like less customer using the product or something.
It's not, because actually our one is so. For example, when the customer buys, we are not like e-commerce website. We are like the inventory part of the e-commerce. So you can imagine like when the customer buys some item, it is separate application, and then after the order everything like done, then it will send that if the vendor, for example, like the third party, will actually send the fulfillment for they will do we will have the fulfillment center. So actually they will like the order is based on our website, and after the vendor ship the items, then they will send for us like one event to say, hey, I already shipped the event for this one, and then we collect that one, we will send to our ERP system. Later, if we delay too long or I mean like actually our report is like we have daily report and we also have like weekly report. Usually weekly report will be more important, but we also have daily report. If somehow we delay too long and don't process that order date in that day, then our report for that day will be like doesn't reflect correctly
Yeah,
for finance. Yeah.
that makes sense. So it seems like a successful project so far. So knowing what you have learned during that project, what would you have done anything differently um, right now?
Differently right now.
Like knowing what you already know, learned from the project, would you do any differently in the past?
For that project
Yes.
or for the
Or is there anything you would change the process, make improvement, or something sort of lesson learned from the project?
so means that you want like yes. So I think related. Did you mean like related to that project or actually
Yes.
can be new
Yeah.
project? Okay. So related to that project is another thing. So our design is we will do the ETL, but we have the application and connect to database. We design to be fast for writing. So we have one like store function called like insert event log, but we have like very slow. We have the problem for the performance of the database. So my task at the time is when I just joined, I got assigned like improve it. So after I benchmark we use the AWS Aurora. So after I benchmark, I know that hey, we have one problem is the table doesn't partition is the first one. Second one, our weight is too high. Means that weight in the Aurora means that like you like when you write to table, we need to have the commit. You need to wait for the scene of the commit. Then after that, you will that one will be succeed. So when I check that in our code, I read to the code and I see that actually our application doesn't have any write. They just pass data. They have the write, but they pass data to the store procedure. Inside that store procedure, they even the name of method called like insert event log. It will read some master data first. It will read some data first, and then after that, it only write. So it makes like a lot of trouble because when they read that data, the design is not really good at that time. It will try because you imagine like one event, one original event, like by this order. Actually, you will like separate to many event state. Like as this component is acknowledged, as this component is a transform, as this component need to connect to the location to do something. So in our database, one original event equal with like 21 event state, and one event can have multiple child event.
Mm-hmm.
So when you process for child event, it can become like the child event need to know what is the original event ID, the event of the parent, the root event. So it always query back to that one. And that query actually take time, make the insert comment is very long, and then Aurora will need to wait for that commit because it is stop procedure. So I suggest them like, hey, we need to pass this original event around in the system. We can put it into the header of our message queue in the event, but we shouldn't keep querying it like this. Especially last time they don't have the where they put everything into one table. It's very long.
Mm-hmm.
So performance, like even we try to increase. Firstly, they actually upgrade scalability for the vertical scale for the server, means that they just increase the number of core processor, number of memory, but it also will have the limitation and also costly. So after I do that one, so actually it reduce from like 20 milliseconds for each event to insert. Now it become like around like 4.5 milliseconds.
So that
Yeah.
is that
For
is
for insert one event. So totally our transaction per second actually it increased a lot. It from like 450 now it can increase to like 1,360 something.
I see. Yep, that's
So yeah,
that's a more than a double gain. So that's
yeah,
great.
it's like I think it's like 5 times because we don't need to query again that table.
Mm-hmm.
So after I did that one, then my manager was very happy. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'm sure. Yeah, given that. So how about we jump to another questions, sort of a coding questions. I'm gonna share with you a link to CodeShare
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Can you access the link?
Yeah, I can access it now.
So there's a question there. The problem is, given a list of meetings, each has a start and the end time. So write a method to check if there is a meeting conflict.
Okay, it's a meeting conflict. So what do could I know like the meeting conflict means that if we for example you have one meeting from 1 to 3, but then you have another meeting like 2 to 4. Does that mean that you have the meeting conflict?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, actually, how about we can start with the method signature that I have down there. Right, you can start from there. Given a class meeting with the start timestamp and timestamps, and so you have to finish that is valid meeting schedule, which gonna return true if this is a valid schedule. Otherwise, return false.
Got it. So let me think a little bit. So for example, if we have something like for example, can have 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. is one pair, right? One meeting, and then after that, so the meeting. What is a meeting conflict? We are clear. I just want to ask. This one will be like how can I say? Yeah, I see that is not sorted yet, right? So I will assume that this one is not just sorted by like increasing by start time or by end time, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it. So I just let me get some question. Please let me get one sample example first, then we can see more detail. So for example, I have one meeting like something like from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Another pair can be maybe it should be used this. And then another pair can be like maybe 10 to 11 is also no problem. 13 to 15 also no problem. But somehow if I have like maybe 8 and maybe 8 to if 8 to 10, then it shouldn't be any problem, right? Because it's just finish of the other one, and then we can switch the project, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it. But if I have something like 8 to 9, so I think the 8 to 9 here can be conflict with both. It is 8 10, and yeah, I think it will conflict with maybe here. Yeah, I think it conflict with 8 10, like something like this.
Correct.
Or maybe I can put it 8 to out something too long to meeting, but we can put like this. So this one actually have the conflict with the 8 10 and conflict with the 10 11 10 11 also. So we actually in this case we need to return the boolean is false, right? Because it is not valid. So let me think a little bit. We can I think if the brute force, then we can just double check this one with every other. So brute force will be n power n square, right? I think the brute force will be n square. Please let me think whether we have any better way. So we can let me think whether we can have any way to have n, right? So the time complexity n, if we only like solve it one time or something. So let me think, two pointer can help in this case or not. No, I don't think, because it's a not sorted, nothing like guarantee is a sorted. So I don't think two pointer works. How about the hash map?
Can you elaborate what would you do exactly for the brute force solution?
Oh, okay, sure. So if for the brute force, so for example, I will like I have the pair. I start from the index is 0, right? So I have the pair is 7 8. So I will just compare with all the one by one with all of this one, right? To see any overlaps. If any overlaps, then means that it will be failed, right? So I compare with 10, 10, 11, and also 13, 15, until the last one is 8 to 12, right?
Yeah.
And if I, for example, this one, I don't have any problem. So I will go with I equal 1. Now for this one, I will have like, I will start from 11 here, right? Then I will go with the one after it. So I will compare one by one with this one. Compare one by one with this one, and also this one, these two, right? And this time I found the valid, the invalid, so I just return.
Okay.
Right? If I don't find any invalid, I just continue like this. So it will be n square, right?
Got it. So yeah, feel free to talk about, think about how you can improve this solution.
Yeah. So I am trying to see whether I can improve to n, right? But seems that two pointer doesn't really help in this one. Even fast or slow pointer or from left or right, I don't think it works. I'm considering to see whether any map can help in this scenario. So any map, no. But for example, if I use map or set, I will somehow, even I have on the list here, I still need to like check the overlap. And if I check overlap, I also cannot know which one I will overlap. So I don't think map or something can help. So n seems that difficult. I will think whether I should and log n or something. And log n usually maybe we have sort. So let me think about sorting. So for example, if we try to sort by static, right? Because so for example, I sort by 7 8 first, then 8 10, then 8 12, and then 10, 11, and then 13, 15, right? So for example, I sort like this. So after I sort, let me think. Yeah, I think so the first one, I can put this, I think here I will use something like the, after I sort already, so I will put it into something called like the list, right? So for example, 7, 8, my list is still empty, right? So I will put into the list of like 7, 8, because it's empty, I just put it into here. It's first meeting. So now I go to 8, 10, right? So when I go to 8, 10, I will compare 8, 10 with the last number, the last element of the list. So I have 7, 8 versus with 8, 10. So it seems that doesn't have any conflict. So I will put the list will become like 7, 8 and 8, 10, right? My list become like this, right? Doesn't it not overlap, and put to list. Then now I move my eye again. I move to here. Then I compare 8, 12 with 8, 10, because I know that this one is a these two won't have any conflict, and I sort by the start date already. So by start already, I know this one like how can I say, come first, and it happened already, and it is a safe, right? So I don't need to compare with this one. I just compare with always compare with the last element. So I compare with 8, 10, 8, 10 and 8, 12, right? I compare this one and I feel like, oh, you have the overlap, right? There is overlap and the return false. So if I run all of this, in the case it is a valid. For example, we don't have this 8, 12, right? So for example, if we don't have this 8, 12, so means that I just like run until all, and I always compare with the last list. And if doesn't have it, then I mean, if I can run until n, so means that it is like valid. If not, it will be like invalid, right? So I think this one will be like n log n, because when I sort the array here, sorry, when I sort the meeting here, it will be like n log n.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So I think I will write the pseudo like, firstly I sort the meeting by start time, and then put the first meeting into a list, right? Into one list. Then the step 3 is like go through meeting list from second element and compare with last element of list, right? So if overlap, then return false. It can go until it can go on a meeting, then return true. So yeah. Do you see any?
That sounds right. Yeah. That sounds good. Sounds good to me. Why would we start with the coding?
Yeah, sure. So let me go with the coding. So I can, because this one is an array, I think we can have array sort. So this one is meeting. I think we can have like M1, meeting 1 and meeting 2. Then we can have, so because the first one is start time, so I will, oh, right, so meeting, yeah, so I think I will need to meeting dot get. I will assume that, can I assume that we have the getter and setter here?
You can access the variable directly
Or you can do
for
like this.
simplicity.
Oh, got it. Thank you. So it will be, so because I sort by the small come first, so I will use m1 minus m2. So I will just dot by start time, right? Yeah, I think it's good already. So now we can have the list of, oh, maybe we don't need to have the list, but we can have the, like, oh, here I think one thing, like if not overlap, then what happened? I mean, at that time, right? If not overlap, the add that element to list, right? So so now I actually we maybe don't need to, okay, I can just keep it first. Later we will see how to improve the list. So I have the time list, yeah, right. Oh, let me think a little bit. We can make some like checking. So for example, if the meeting, I don't think it can be none, but the checking, if meeting equal none or the meetings length equal 1, right? So in that case, of course, if the meeting is a none or something, it will be true, right? Because none means that I just don't have any meeting. Is it okay for you? Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I will just say like, because my one letter I list it from the second element, so at least I need to check it more than one first, right? If not, the code can have the problem. So I make the time. So now I will put the time list at first. So I will add the meeting, the first one, the first element after I sort. So then now I look from the second element, right? So I will, so now let me think a little bit. Okay, so now I need to get the meeting, right? And then I need to check with the last element whether it like overlap. So here I will say like check overlap. So this one I prefer to have like the separate method to check overlap. So is overlap. So you will have two meeting, right? M1 and meeting M2, right? So how do we check the overlap? You can see if there is, for example, between these two, or maybe we can get another sample here. For example, like 4 to 7 and if it totally inside other one like 5 to 6, then wait for me a minute. So mark is a 5 and mean is a 6. Because we sorted already. So if I have this guy, or how about, for example, I have, let me think a little bit for this one to be carefully. So 2 and 3, the mark is a 4. And the mean is a 3. So this one is a not overlap, right? Okay, so I say I have the overlap if I think I can have overlap. It must of start 1 and start 2. smaller than mean of n1 and n2. So for example, in this case, right? For example, in this case, or maybe this case is a little bit special. But for example, if you see 5 or 8, right? So you have mean of max of 4 and 5 is a 5, right? So max of here is a 5, and then mean of 7 and 8 you have 7, right? So your one is smaller than this one, so this one will have like the one. If 2 and 3 you don't have the one, because 2 and 4 your mark is 4 and mean of 3, so your is 3. It doesn't compliant with this one. So in this case, it's not overlap. We can do another one. Let me think. So for example, you have 4 and 7, and then now you have like 8 to 9. Oh, for example, in this case, your one is 8, and the mean is 7. So you also don't comply with this condition. So here is a condition for me to make overlap condition, right? If the max of this one smaller than mean of this one, then it will be overlaps. So do you have any problem with this one?
One questions.
Yeah.
When you say M1 and M2, do you make any assumption whether those are already sorted or not?
When I do like this, it means I sorted already. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I will check the meeting here with the last element, right?
Yeah.
And then it's actually already be sorted, because firstly I sorted here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sorted by started.
Right.
Yeah.
So if let's say M1 M2, M1 dot S1,
yeah,
mean M1 dot S1 is smaller than M2 dot S2, right?
Yeah.
So does that means max of S1 and S2 equal to S2?
As you mean S2. Yeah, correct. Oh, so you mean like we can say it's like S2? No, I mean the overlap, the overlap here, we don't need to say it is like sorted or not, right? Because it's just two number, right? So for example, even you put it like this, right? We just check whether it has the overlap here or not, right?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's why I'm asking whether you make any assumption here, but
sorry, I a little bit confused too, but I think it doesn't relate to the sort for only 2 here.
Okay.
Yeah, because here we just check what whether we have the overlap.
Okay.
Right. So I will say if it's a n2 dot start time, it is smaller than mean of n2 dot on time, m1 dot on time and n2 dot on time. So it will be overlap. So I will check here if it is overlap between the I can put something like a meeting, last meeting, right? So last meeting is I can just get it from the last element in the time list. So I can always compare the current meeting in the schedule with the last meeting, and if it is overlap, you can just return false. If not, then I can just add it into the, again, just add this meeting becomes the last meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can just add it because it's sorted from beginning. So I always make sure my last meeting is really the last meeting. And then if we can run until here, we can run to here, mean on meeting cannot overlap. then I can just return the true here, right? So let's my test again with this one, or maybe yeah, I can test again with this one. So for example, like this, I will sort first, right? Firstly, I check in this one, my one more than one. So I will need to sort it first by start time. So I will sort like 7 and 8, and then 8, 10 and 8, 12. Oh, I think it's a case like this. Anyway, I can put anyone win before first, right? I think it doesn't have problem to. For example, if they have the same start date, do I need to put this one first or not? I don't think we need, because anyway, later we will need to compare this one with the last one, right? So I mean, if in the case the same start, I think it can be any order. So let me think. Let me make one test. Here's a test. Let me make one test. For example, what happens if 8, 12 come first, right? After sort. Then we can test more detail. Then 10, 11, and this one will be the sort. Okay, so here is after I sort. So after I sort, I put the first one into the time list. So my time list will become 7 and 8. Now I start from here. I start from here. So my 8, 12 and is not overlapped with 7, 8, right? So let me see. So I have the marks of the start is, I think that one we proved already, but I just want is 8, and then mean is 12. No, mean is a 7. Right? Mean is 8 and 12. So mean is 8. Mean of n, I can say mean of n is 8. So mark of start equal 8, and like equal with the mean of n, also 8. So it's not overlap, right? Overlap. So when it's not overlap, I just move this 8 tail to the time list. So now my time list become 8 and 12. Okay. Now I move my one again to this one. So I need to compare the current one with the latest, means that 8, 12 versus with 10. And now it is the overlaps, right? Because the mark of start will become 8, but the mean of n become 10. So mean that mean n greater than mark of start, so it will be overlap. Then I return false, right? Based on here, if it's overlap, I return false. So I think at least for this case is correct. Let me take another case. For example, we have here, and maybe 13 to 6 to 14, and another one like 7 to 8. Right. So for example, here I sort. So of course 1, 3 come first. 7, 8, make another, and 13, 14. I sort first. Sorted. And after that, my time list will be 1 and 3, right? Then I start from the second one. Time list here first, and then I start from the second one. I come from 7, 8, compare 7, 8 with 1 and 3. Then not overlap. When not overlap, what I do at the time list, so time list now become um, 7 and 8, right? And at the current meeting means the 7 and 8. Now I move my eye to here. Then I need to compare the current one, 13, 14 with 7 and 8, right? And I think not overlap too. So add to the time list too. And I run on the list already, then I can just return true here. So I think my one is done like this.
Yeah, cool. Can you you talk
So
about...
I think the time complexity, because this one just one loop, so it end. But I think this one is n log n, right? With the n here is a number of the meeting we have. So I think time complexity will be n log n. With n is number of meeting. The space complexity, because we use a time list, so it will be on too. I think it might don't need to be used that time list. Let me think a little. I think it can be on if we have something like I think I can put like this: last meeting, right, equal with the meeting here, right? Let me change a little bit. Let's see. So, for example, I will remove this one first. So, firstly, I put my last meeting is the first meeting, right? And then, means that I don't use the time list anymore. I just use one variable to keep track the last meeting. So, in the case, is the overlap is return true, but it's not overlap. I will just say last meeting equal with the current meeting, right? And then here, and then I just move to the next thing. So if I do like this, I think it will be a 1, because we like even n is very long. I only use the constant number of the variable here.
Great. So n log n, time complexity, and on space. That's pretty efficient. Can you take a look at the your is overlap method and see if you can simplify it?
Let me think a little bit. So if we want to simplify, we need to so we have 3. So let me think. But if we for example, because we always say if we want to simplify, I think we need to go with is a meeting or not. So the meeting always, the start time of meeting is at least equal or greater than the last meeting already, right? The current meeting here is, so for example, we have something like 3, 5, and the other one is the start time of the last meeting. So for example, I have this one, the current meeting, right? It is a meeting here. So now my last meeting got I sort. So my start time will be maximum is a 3, right? It can be 1. It can be max is a 3. Max is 3. And another number can be called x. So now let me think in which case. So this one always greater than this one. And now only the so if we say x, if x is inside it 3 and 4, then of course if x outside like if x fall in which scenario, because this one short already. So now only one scenario it doesn't have the overlap is x smaller than the current meeting here, right? like something. Let me think a little bit. Something like um, last something called like last meeting dot end time, right? The end time of last meeting smaller or equal than the current meeting dot start time. Is it what? Do you think any problem with this one? I think seems that no problem because if it's like in the left side of 5, then of course it's overlap. If x between 3 and 5, of course it's overlap. Only the case x smaller than 3, then it doesn't have overlap. So I think my one, because this one we already sorted based on the sorted and based on the the theory that the last meeting is always the last meeting and the current meeting have sorted by the start. So I think we can come up with this one. If it's smaller or equal also okay, right? Equal is a not overlap. So I think like this. Do you see any problem?
So that condition means what?
Mean like, for example, I have the last meeting is like current one. I have 3 and 5, right? And then I have, for example, 1 and let me take it bigger. So for example, I have 8 to 10. The last meeting somehow is a 5 to 5 and x, right? So here is the last meeting. I mean, the one I already sorted and the last time here is the last meeting here. Firstly, it was right, and now and this one is sorted by the start time. These two sorted by start time, right? So I say if x smaller than the start time of the current meeting, I mean this value 8, then it will be not overlap.
Okay.
If x greater than
Yeah.
that, so it will be overlap. So
Yeah.
I will say,
Got it.
yeah.
Can you update the function?
Yeah, sure. So I think if like that, we need to put detail like this one is the last meeting, and this one like current meeting, something like this. Then it not confused.
Mm-hmm.
So let me write the new one. I will comment here first. Keep the code first. Return. So I will say overlap, right? Means the last meeting dot end time. If it is somehow greater than the current meeting dot start time, then it becomes the overlaps, right?
Cool.
Do you see it good already?
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah. So here I need to pass correctly meeting to current meeting. Yeah. So I think it's good already. This is the last meeting.
Yeah.